Welcome back to the Live for Life podcast. I'm here with G-Dog. G-Dog, how has your start to the year been so far?
I mean, the start of the year is very similar to the end of the year. I just train consistently.
Yes. Good answer. G-Dog. I'm fired up. Right. This is a big episode because if you are obviously an avid listener of the Live for Life podcast and you put into place what we say, you will already be doing this. But if you are someone who's listening to the podcast and you're still not convinced by our message, we thought this was a really important one. So the topic is why you need to start lifting weights. So Dida, I'm going to let you take us away and give the real kind of angle of attack on why people who don't lift weights need to.
I'm going to reverse this slightly to Angus's surprise and say, actually, you do not need to lift weights.
It's called clickbait.
I know, but you do not need to lift weights. I think it's clickbait, G-Dog saying you don't need to leave weights. So the reason you do not need to lift weights is that most daily tasks in a modern society do not require high levels of strength. So the average person never needs to lift weights. Modern life is designed around convenience. So you've got elevators, you've got escalators, you've got cars, you've got sitting at your desk in your office, you've got light physical tasks. You're not lifting bricks, you're not trying to hunt for an animal.
So it depends what industry you work in, actually.
True, but in most lives today, strength is not essential. So it is natural.
Well, some sort of strength
if you want to decline, then you can decline by not lifting weights. And if you type into Google, do I need to lift weights? The response will pop up, quote, many people feel content, healthy, and mobile simply by walking, doing light activity, and maintaining a stable weight. Their muscle loss, sarcopenia, is inevitable and will happen slowly. They won't realize it's happening to them. And then later in life, they'll start to realize their body has declined because they didn't prepare for their older age. They'll have difficulty walking. They might need walking sticks. They might need walking frames. They might have difficulty getting up out of chairs. They may have difficulty putting their luggage in the overhead rack on airplanes. But it's all happened slowly and declining. And they may just say, well, this is a natural part of old age. But that does not need to be the way. And you need to start thinking about this earlier in life. And so you need to understand, first of all, that you do actually need to lift weights if you want to have a healthy, active life as you age. This is the critical thing. You do not need to if you're prepared to decline. And I think if you're listening to this podcast and you're prepared to decline, then go away. We don't want you. We want people who want to age strongly.
Powerfully.
So, if you lift weights, you are going to reduce your injury risk. You are going to increase your metabolic rate. You're going to increase your ability to make fat loss because your metabolic rate goes up. You're going to improve your insulin sensitivity, which will reduce your risk of long-term diabetes, heart disease, and any sort of metabolic syndromes. You're going to improve your posture. You're going to enhance your confidence. You're going to boost your energy. You're going to improve your sleep quality. You're going to raise your testosterone level. I think that's a good reason to lift weights.
That's absolutely fantastic. I'm going to play really dumb here, G-Dog, and I'm going to ask you the question, but weight training's just not for me, or I'm too old to lift weights. What would you say to someone who said that?
I think if you think weight training's not for you, it's because you have never done weight training properly. So a lot of people will just rock up in the gym and be a bit confused by all of the weights and the machines they see, and probably just walk over to the treadmill or the bike. And then they've gone to the gym. They'll get no results on the back of it. And then a few weeks later or a couple of months later, they might stop. So what they need to do is to either talk to the people that run the gym and get them to explain a couple of machines, not everything, just teach me how to do a bench press. Teach me how to lift weights slowly. Teach me how to connect my mind with my muscles. And as I said before, do it while you're listening to music. And so you're lifting the weights to the beats of the music. It's a great way of maintaining some sort of connectivity between your brain and your muscles by listening to music and beats while you're doing it. But I think once you start to realize the joy from feeling that connectivity between your brain and your muscle and feeling your muscles moving, that's when you'll start to get addicted to it. And so if you say it's not for you, it's because you're not doing it properly.
I think it's also a big fear factor thing. And I find with people who don't weight train, they make out like it's because it's just not for them. And actually almost their ego comes out and they go, oh, I would never do the gym. It's just not me. It's actually often because people are scared of the gym environment, which is fine. I was once one of those people. And it does take time to build up the confidence. But once you build up the confidence, the impact it has on the outside world is dramatic. And I found from a personal level, from definitely your perspective as well, and from clients that I work with loads of people who have said they are not a gym person. But with the right methods and the right programming and the right approach, you very quickly become really confident in a gym environment. And what that does in the outside world, you walk just prouder. You have much better posture, like you've mentioned. And you just carry yourself with this aura that is infectious, isn't it? And I know we joke about G-Dog being godlike and things like that. Well, in his eyes, he's probably not a joke. But it's transformative, isn't it, for your confidence?
Yeah. But I think it's also most people that I speak to that say I'm not a gym person go running.
That's true.
And we should emphasize that running obviously is good for your cardiovascular health, for your mood. People get the runner's high. For fat burning, only if you then don't overconsume afterwards. And I would argue that people that run a lot do overconsume and therefore become skinny fat, as it were. And running, obviously, because it's good for your cardiovascular health, by definition, it's going to be good for your longevity. But the people that actually live their healthiest, strongest, longest lives are people that do both running and strength training as well. So the issue with running, and there's every single medical study you can look at, whether it's from MIT, Harvard, the NHS, any global health institute, is that endurance activities do not load muscles heavily enough to prevent age-related strength loss, sarcopenia. Also, running does not provide the stimulus you need for meaningful muscle growth. So anyone that says, I run a lot, therefore I've got big legs, I'm sorry. Compare that to barbell back squats. Your legs are not as big. And most people that run a lot, they got chicken legs, you got to admit, right? So you can't say that running is giving you big muscles in your legs. It just doesn't. Unless you're sprinting and you're a 100-meter sprinter. And to be honest, most of those 100-meter sprinters are weight training anyway. And that's why their legs are so big and they're powerful. So runners and walkers often lose muscle mass and bone density unless they include strength training in their program. And I think you'll find, whether it's people doing high rocks, whether it's people doing, shorter distance running in the Olympics and so on, most of those runners will be doing some sort of strength training. It's wrong to say all they do is run and don't do any strength training. I think they definitely do, even if it comes to strengthening their calves, to preventing calf injuries and so on. So it is true that running is good for you, absolutely. But if you only run and don't do any strength training, you are going to suffer long term in your older age as a result of that.
Have you got any more deep dog facts on weight training there?
So,
because I want you to really sell it to me even more.
Yeah. So the reason that people weight train in order to improve their longevity and health is not just associated with bone density, muscle mass, and therefore, improved aspects of mental health. It's very, very important for other things, such as your skin and also the performance of your brain. So when you lift weights, a single session of resistance training will cause an increase in blood flow to your brain. It will elevate arousal. It will switch on your attention systems. It triggers the release of dopamine, brain-derived neurotrophic factor, so BDNF, and also noradrenaline. And all of those chemicals together improve and enhance the communication between the neurons in your brain. It sharpens what's called your executive function and improves your working memory almost immediately. So the impact on your brain is really, really significant. But also, the strength training increases the lactate levels in your blood, and your brain uses that as an efficient fuel during cognitively demanding tasks. So if you weight train at lunchtime, you're going to be better in the afternoon at work in terms of your brain functionality, right? I definitely find that. If I've had a really bad morning, I go to the gym, it resets me, and I can just concentrate better in the afternoon. But also, resistance training temporarily reduces your stress and anxiety, which allows the prefrontal cortex, so that's the area of your brain that is important for decision-making, planning, and focus, to function more efficiently. So that's exactly the point that I'm raising. If you strength train at lunchtime, then you are able to do more demanding tasks in the afternoon. So you'll find quite a lot of senior leaders, they might schedule their demanding tasks for the morning, first thing, and do sort of more casual meetings in the afternoon. But you can actually flip that around if you go to the gym at lunchtime. It sort of extends your ability to perform the demanding tasks later on in the day. And all of this is very, very different to cardio training, because if you do cardio training, well, that also does improve your cognitive function. Its immediate effects, according to the medical studies I've read, are much smaller and less targeted from those from resistance training. And also, the aerobic exercise and the impact on your brain is more steady and uniform, whereas the resistance training is sharp by definition, sharp, intense bursts of this, what they call neural activation. And that results in all of these things of BDNF, dopamine, et cetera, and they have a much bigger immediate impact. These rapid spikes have a bigger impact on stimulating your prefrontal cortex. So it's very, very different in terms of the mental impacts of weight training compared to the mental impacts of cardio training, even though a lot of runners always refer to this thing of the runner's high. I would say in weight training, you're getting the runner's high every 5 minutes. That's the way I think about it. When I'm in the gym, I'm lifting weights, I do my sets and I get a runner's high, then I pause and I do more sets, I get a runner's high. And it's happening constantly all the way through the session. And so my brain is getting repeatedly stimulated. And it's even more than that, because it makes you look younger. We all know people that run and look physically old and haggard. Their skin becomes very, very loose. They look gaunt. Maybe you look at their neck and they see all lines on their neck because all of their body is just tight, and it just all sort of loose rather. It's sort of falling apart. But if you weight train, then obviously it increases your muscle mass. We talked about that. It improves your posture. It tightens your body composition. And your skin quality improves because you have better collagen production and blood flow from the weight training. And this removes this soft, sagging, hollow appearance that you get from running. So, and how many times have you seen a jacked weight trainer with like flabby skin that looks haggard? It just doesn't happen. Whereas if you see runners, so many of the runners have this this appearance. So running, cardio, obviously great for heart health, et cetera, but if you want to basically have all of these benefits, you should run, do cardio, absolutely, but also combine it with the strength training. And then why is it, do you think, that strength training, Angus, improves your skin? What do you notice, or what do you think about it?
Well, obviously, you've spoken about collagen production there,
Yeah.
which obviously has a vital impact. But it must be obviously to do with the skin tightening, which you've obviously spoken about there.
Yeah, so basically it delivers oxygen and nutrients to your skin as you weight train, and it also helps you remove the waste products as the blood flows rapidly around your body. Obviously, you're pumping your muscles, you're causing the blood flow, and that obviously it increases your skin cell turnover as your mitokines go around your body more. Also, it stimulates the production of growth hormone, IGF-1, and that is very good for collagen synthesis. Also, as your muscle mass grows beneath the skin, it provides natural, I suppose you could describe it as scaffolding for your body. And that gives your face and your body a fuller and more lifted appearance. Weight training is definitively shown to reduce acne flare-ups, believe it or not.
Do you know what? That is something that, I would be proof in the pudding of as well. So I had terrible acne up until the age of 17. And then I started lifting weights. And within that year, it cleared up dramatically. And I didn't actually know that. So it's very interesting to know.
And I wanted to know why that is. And it says apparently because it lowers your stress hormones, including cortisol, they are directly linked to acne.
Wow.
And so it's the cortisol
That's
factor.
an amazing study.
Yeah. So it just, absolutely run, but the benefits of weight training are far more than are commonly known. Going to the gym, getting jacked, getting big muscles. It's the skin, it's your brain, it's your anxiety, stress, the cognitive functioning during your day. There's so many benefits. So if you think about this when you go into the gym, then you want to be a gym person.
Exactly. It is literally the greatest investment in your future, isn't it? Anything else you'd like to add there, G-Dog?
I think I've just almost exploded with excitement.
I think the big thing for me is, I obviously spoke about it when G-Dog interviewed me as well, is the beauty of having the gym environment and having weight training is it can be that light in your life where everything around you can be going wrong. It could be family related, relationship related, work related. And you can go into that gym, smash your training session and progress your body. And if your body progresses, then it helps relax your mind and it helps you almost delete the problems that are going on in your life for a period of time. But also, rather than channeling that negative energy into going down to the pub and drinking 10 pints and a pack of cigarettes, instead you're using that negative energy, you take it into the gym and then getting positive energy, which will only help you make better decisions going forward.
Absolutely.
Wow. I'm feeling inspired to go lift some weights now, G-Dog.
Me too.
Guys, thanks once again for tuning into Lift for Life podcast. We've got some very exciting episodes to come and guests to come in the weeks to follow this one. One thing I would love to say is please do message in your ideas for podcast episodes. We've found some of our actually most listened to and downloaded episodes are from you guys. So any topics you'd like us to cover, please do share. Please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time, G-Dog.
Thanks.
See you later.